Good morning, everybody. V here. I am here with my first April Elegant Embellishments DT project, and this is going to be in steps, so bear with me. You have to come back for the other parts, and so it is also a video response to Evi Foulidou's 100 subbie challenge. And I combined both of them. When I saw what was in my DT project, I was like, oh my gosh, that's going to be so perfect to add to what I was already starting to do. And so, oh, excuse me. Now, Evi's challenge is to create a wall hanging with either a fairy, a pixie, or I believe a flower. And it has to be 5 by 8. Inches wide and tall. And so when she said fairy, I was like, oh my gosh, because we love fairies. We have a cute little fairy garden that we have. I love making fairy wings. I entered a fairy challenge last year and I won the fairy crown, so yay. You all will remember the little fairy wings. Oops. There we go. So whimsical. I made a pair of sun fairy wings and a pair of the autumn fairy wings. And so doing this wall hanging was like so awesome. We have several fairy books, but this is one of our favorites. And it is Fairyopolis. And it is basically a guide. Let me just show you a couple of pages real quick. It's basically a guide to help us understand all of the fairies, where they live, how you can see one, their pointy ears, what fairies are called, what is a fairy, maps to where you can see, because you know there's different fairies in different locations. We love to go searching for fairy wings. And if you all saw my fairy wing video, you'll know why we go looking for them. It explains why they go barefooted, their wings, their petite little pointed ears, not petite pointed, but they're pointed ears. And so in here is a piece of fairy wing that was on a bush. It teaches you how you can look for them, how you can see them, where they live. Now, as some of you know, fairies, captured fairies. We haven't captured a fairy yet. One of these days we'll capture a fairy. But it's got, where they live, where you can see some of the plants. The secret of the fairy ring. Where the fairies gather to dance and play. Just all kinds of wonderful little things in here. So we love reading this book. So it was definitely something that I wanted to enter. Now, there is a little sneak peek of what is to come, but I'm not going to show that. So let's get started very quickly. It's early in the morning here, and I need to go finish getting the buggy ready for school. So let me show you what I have done. Yes, you are seeing 2 of them, and I'll explain here in a minute. What I used from the DT is this beautiful trim. I used the fairy wing trim, and again, it just reminds me of fairy wings. See? I used this trim. This is so pretty. Wait, which way do I got it backwards? I used the crystal trim, and what I did was I cut it down the middle so that I could get twice as much. And I only have a little piece left, so thank goodness I done that. And last but not least, I used the applique. Now, for both of these wall fairy hangings, I dyed them in, I dyed one in, remember when I had this piece of red material and I dyed it, I stuck it in water and it turned blood red? And I got out this different colors of purple. Well, I found a blue velvet skirt at the, oh, that blue, it was just such pretty blue velvet. So I stuck a little piece of it in the water, and sure enough, it bled, and it turned like a blueberry blue. And I thought, oh, wow. Okay, well, that'll be cool. So when I took it out of the water, the same thing, it was blue. When I put it in the dryer, dried it, it came out different shades of purple. So there's actually 3 different colors of purple. There's Rit dye, regular purple. There's the maroon, the blood red water, and then there is the blueberry water. And again, 3 different effects. So I am going to start off with Evi's wall hanging. Now I'm going to start with the back. What I did was I measured the size that we needed for the wall hanging, and I covered it with lace, and you can see the lace in the background. I then came in and covered it with fairy wing material, and then I added different filler laces all the way around. So starting with this beautiful purple, then there's a white that was also dyed, but it didn't take too much of the color. And then there is a, a purple that was also dyed. In the back, what I did here is where the hanger is. Here, and it's just hung on with some dyed seam binding. Doily, a flower from my stash. These little pieces were cut off of this piece of trim right here. And this right here is going to hold my information. As you can see, there's lots of little dangles there. And so I'll turn it over and show you the dangles here in just a minute. So this is the wall hanging. She wanted either pastel or vintage, and so I went with like a pastel, but I did use different shades of purple. And I'm doing that with what I'm creating is different shades of different colors. So, but again, this one is purple. So on top of that 3rd layer of the purple lace right there, I came over and I used the fairy wing trim, and this one was dyed, and it gave me a purple, a really pretty purple. I wish I wouldn't have dyed that and left it white because it kind of faded into it, but at the same time it's still just gorgeous. So what I did was I went up the side, up across the top, and down. Before putting the top row on, can you see this pretty little trim right here? That was a little piece that was cut off of this one up here. I ran that across first, and then I put the fairy wing on top. Under the flower over here, I have a piece of trim from my stash, and it just runs the length of that. On top of the flower, I have different doilies that were dyed with different things, the same as this rosette trim. And then I put the cup chain in each one of the little rosettes. And then that is the inside of one of the doilies and a flower from my bling. I don't know how well you can see them, but them are like a dark purple flower, a rosette trim. This was also a wedding applique that I dyed. And then, as I said in the book, you know, fairies love to collect, or about the book, fairies love to collect found things. So they're always tucking in found things here and there, so you always got to keep an eye out for it. Should you go into the garden, you must be careful where you trod, because you don't want to step and break their found things. So over here we have a spoon that the fairies have tucked in there. Over here we have a key that they tucked in. On the top over here, we have a double layered butterfly. The first layer is this butterfly trim, and then the top layer is another butterfly, and then I use the cup chain down the middle. As you all know, the fairy wing trim has these pearls on it, so I didn't have to do nothing to that. On the bottom over here, let me start with the first dangle. The first dangle on there is glue strands. Is this one right here that was dyed, this peacock looking one. And then I did try to dye this one, but it did not dye very well. On top of the very back purple lace is where I put them two. Then there is the second layer of lace. And on top of that, I'm sorry, whoa, that's early in the morning. Papa will get it. On top of that, I added another layer of this dyed lace. This real pretty one. I'm sorry for the phone ringing. Right here. And then there is where the third layer of lace is. On top of that third layer of lace, I added a layer of this purple stringy fringe trim. And then on top of that, I added 2 pieces of the curtain piece, and I've glued on some resin flowers. On top of that is this dainty purple lace right there, and it goes across the top. And then over here in the corner, as you can see, this right here, I cut out all the center of that to make this into a frame. And I saved this little white piece right there. And after putting a piece of this applique or Venice trim down here, I then came in, and you can see where it's bolted. I did that on purpose by, you know, bringing it in a little bit. And I have, on all of the little flower pieces, I have put some of the cup chain. And I put the word wonder on there because, you know, a lot of people don't believe in fairies, so... but fairies are just adorable little creatures out in our gardens. And so, we like to go out there and look to see what they're up to. Sometimes they're mischievous, so you got to be careful with them. We're always wondering what they're doing. But for the other edge of the wall hanging, I've layered a piece of dyed trim right there that was dyed. This was also layered and dyed. And then there's different doilies that were different, dyed with different things. Over here we have another found object. They have a little bauble under there. On top of that is where I use the beautiful flower trim right there from Elegant Embellishments. And I did dye this one, but it took a very, very light color. Where's the other one? Let me show you. Can you see the difference? It took it so ever lightly, which was perfect. And again, the center of one of the doilies and a thing from my trim. More of the dark purple flowers. Also over here in this corner is a bottle of fairy dust. Over here we have more flowers and then a spray that I put on there. For the frame itself, using that applique, right there you can see where it's at. And if I put this one that's not dyed, you can see where it's dyed it so ever lightly right there. What I did on the applique, I'm going to put that down real quick. Again, after cutting out the center, I came in with this trim, and so that it would bolt up, and if you can see them, see how they lift up right there? So that would do that. What I did was, where every flower was, I glued it to where it stuck up like that. And then, okay, baby, hold on. And, sorry. I added that around the frame of the applique. And then down below, I used a piece of that same trim and made a bow. So there's where my bow is. And then on the bottom portion of it, I just added more of these purple little flower, resin flowers. On the, where each one of the little flowers was on that trim, I used some of this crocheted rose trim. Hey, babe. Hi, monkey. My monkey's here. I'm almost done, babe. I put the trim there, and then the little cup chain in each one of the flowers. What, babe? On the very outer edge, I came in with some more of the box pleated trim, and then using flowers from my stash, I added a center to them. Again, on the background, you will see the fairy wing material, the same thing that I did to the back of it. Okay, now let me share with you the second portion of this. Now this one is for me. Now on the back side, I did nothing to it because I am going to do something, but you got to come back and see what that is. So in the meantime, it's just covered with the batting, then the lace, and then the fairy wing material. And then it's covered with this beautiful gathered, really thick, pretty lace. On the front, I basically did everything that I did to the other one. There might be variations in what I used as far as either a lace, a trim, a flower, something like that, the image. I did try to mimic it as much as possible. The fairy wing trim, I did not dye. I left this one white because it's white, purple, white, and then a very faint purple back there, and I didn't want this one to fade into it. I did variations with the doily, the rosette trim, all of that's pretty much the same. The difference here is I had to use a light purple with a dark purple because I ran out of the dark. And then a rosette trim, and that's on both of them. Again, another applique, more flowers. This was actually from my girls, and they were barrettes, clippy barrettes, and I just stuck them on there. They're little dragonflies. The fairies love the animals. Again, down here is a tucked item, or a found item, I'm sorry, and it's a bottle cap that they found in the garden, and they've left some fairy dust in it. Again, a double layered flower or butterfly, using a different butterfly on the top of the butterfly trim, the cup chain trim. Over here, again, purple flowers spray that I made. Down below is different laces, and I did start out with that purple one again. And then this one I tried dyeing as well, again, the leaf trim. And then that same purple one again. I'm coming, Evelyn. And then that one right there, and then purple laces. My daughter's got to go. And then again layers. Then there is the black dangle trim. And as you can see, there's another found object, a little mirror that they've got tucked in there. This applique trim right here, I did not have any more of that purple trim from the other one, so I had to use that. And so up here, you can see where I put it. And again, it's under the fairy wing trim. And then I did the same thing, keeping out the center, only this one says a stolen kiss. And oops. Over here, I had to use a couple of different doilies. I have a Battenberg doily, a different doily. Then there's the trim from Elegant Embellishments. I did the same thing with this trim over here. Yes, that one and that one. And again, another butterfly. There is another found object. Yes, Mama. There is a key. And then, again, there is my fairy dust. Now, when you think of a stolen kiss, usually where's that stolen kiss taken? Where nobody's looking, where nobody can see. I did everything the same to the applique in the center. I added the flowers on the bottom. The same, I did the trim the same way and everything as I did on the other one, as you can see. The difference is I used a different image, and I left the image on the back of this one square or rectangular, and I added trim all around the edge. Now, like I said, when you think of a stolen kiss, it's usually hidden. So for this one, you lift it, and all I did under the trim was put some wire so that it'd be a little bit stiffer when I lifted it, and then I covered the wire with this beautiful lace. And there is my beautiful image of a stolen kiss. Fairies on a boat ride in the middle of the night, the beautiful full moon, the wisteria. They've got their little lantern. That's what I forgot to do, put my stickles on there. But, so there is my image, and there is my wall hanging, and I hope that you guys will come back to see what I am creating with doing the final project, as well as my second my second DT project for Elegant Embellishments. And Evie, by the time you see this video, you will have already received your wall hanging. And I hope that you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed making it. It was a lot of fun to work with the fairies. So we will talk with you all later. I will say goodbye, and I hope that everybody has a great day. Remember to use Virginia 5, all uppercase, for a discount. The link to the store, as well as to all of the designers, will be down below. Remember to stop and say hello to our guest designer for this month, Jeanette, who is Scrappin' Happy XO. Again, all the links will be down below. Remember, Virginia 5 uppercase for a discount. Remember, these are embellishment kits. Dee only puts out a few every month, and they do sell very quickly. So when you see us upload our reveal videos, that's the time to go running over there. I do believe she still has some stuff in the store, and there are a few things that sold out immediately that she is trying to replace because everybody loved it so much. So you guys, will talk with you all later. Everybody have a great day. Bye.